meeting to order. It is 7:11 on June 22nd, 2015. We are being filmed by Area 58.
Community television.
Community television. Thank you very much. Okay, so on the agenda tonight we have mail, reserve fund transfers, line item transfers, discussion and vote to fill open finance committee seat, reorganization, review of FY15 spending, public participation, calendar review of meeting dates, and adjournment. Okay, so we have some mail. Dated June 22nd, to all department heads, committees, and boards from the town accountant, school-related costs. At the end of every fiscal year, we must report to the state the actual amount of spending, the actual amount of funding spent for education. In order to do this, we must calculate all school-related costs. Please submit copies of any bills paid or schedules of employees' hours and rates for goods or services provided to the school during fiscal year 2015 to the accountant's office by July 31st, 2015. Thank you for your cooperation in this manner. Sandra Nolan, Town Accountant.
You know, that's very important. That determines our reimbursement.
Okay. Kim?
Can I just ask a question about the school budget? I got word this weekend, somebody called me over the weekend that their hours were being cut at the school. It was an aide position. And it had to do with, they're not indirectly in the kindergarten room, but remember how the kindergarten grant got cut for full day kindergarten?
This year?
The state, yeah,
the state cut it.
Okay.
So they're not in the kindergarten, but those people have more seniority, so they're not gonna get cut. So anyway, so I didn't realize that the school was in a position based on their budget that they were looking at any cuts, because I asked Sandra Nolan and I asked Linda Cole if the school had notified us at all to make provisions for unemployment, because if they knew that they were cutting hours, they qualified for unemployment for the difference of the hours. And they said they hadn't heard anything. So I called John Tuffy and I said, gee, John, we provided what we thought was a level service budget. And he said that they made, that it wasn't level service, that they had gone to the number that the finance committee had asked them to.
Yeah.
So I asked Kendra to check the notes just to see what was reflected in the notes. Because I know that every time I went to a school committee meeting, I talked about level service. Like, because they, remember they lost that other grant that was worth about $40,000 for contracted services. Yeah. And we made up for that so that there wouldn't be any cuts. So did you realize at all, did anybody come to you at all saying that positions would be cut based on the number that you provided the school?
No.
No.
Never.
No,
I had no idea that it would affect personnel at all.
Okay.
Because when Peg made the motion for the 2.5%, I think we had,
Casey Hansen was here.
I think Casey was here.
Yeah.
I wasn't here, but I asked her to check the minutes.
So, and I've gone to a couple school committee meetings since, and nobody is.
Yeah, from the puzzle that I was trying to put together, I asked Kendra to pull the minutes. And Casey was in the audience. I happened to be, I wasn't here, I think I was at a Hops meeting, but anyway. Casey's response was something to the effect of, let me talk to my committee and I can let you know what happened. So after that, when the new budget came in, I don't remember if I was at the school committee meeting at the beginning of them passing it out, but I know I walked in, I got a copy of the front page, and I took a picture of it, and I sent it to you, and I sent it to Sandy so they would at least know what the new number was. So I didn't hear at all that there would be any cuts during that meeting. In fact, when I first heard about the cut in that particular grant, I raised my hand and I asked Joy Blackwell, what are you doing in the year that we're in? Because it affected this year. And they said we were going to absorb it. Like we would find it within the budget, and then next year we would figure it out. Like if I had heard the words we're cutting positions, I would have been thinking that's not level service, even though that wasn't what you guys were kind of doing, even though I was sort of the level service for all departments within the town and not treating a budget differently. But I would have said, now we have to pay unemployment, would the finance committee have made a different decision to fund that extra 14,000? I don't know. All I know now is that two people were told that their hours were being cut from 32 hours to 16, and they'll lose their insurance benefits as well. So I think they're in the infancy of trying to, like, you know, they just let them know last Thursday.
But shouldn't they have let them know previously?
Well, I don't even know.
To the contract?
I was hoping that Casey was here, because I don't even know if the school committee people were aware of it, because again, it didn't come up at a school committee that I attended. Again, I might have shown up late because I was at a HOPS meeting or I was here, but there was no conversation that I had with anybody that reflected a cut in any hours or services at the school. The superintendent did offer to me on the phone that based on not this year's budget that you just voted, but the previous year, remember at town meeting when you guys cut their amount, that resulted in their librarian going from full-time to .9. But I didn't even realize that either. So. But that was an after effect of the contract that they negotiated, yes.
Not.
Well, I think it was the after effect that they were filling it for somebody new, so that it didn't really affect an existing person. But anyway, he also made mention that in addition to the 32 hours that needs to be cut, that their art teacher would go to .9 too, as you know, from full-time to .9. But anyway, I just didn't.
So this is 2 kindergarten aides?
Well, they're not technically they're special ed aides is what it is. Because right now, they need the 2 kindergarten aides. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna fund the kindergarten aides using general revenue, and then they're gonna cut the 2 sped aides to have part-time. They maybe could have made a decision to cut one and leave the other one alone, but they made the decision to cut both in half. But again, I don't know how much the school committee knows about this.
Peck.
You know, I'm sure that when we discussed it, there was never any discussion about what effect this would have with regard to what would be cut and so on. It always seemed as though you could compress a few things like supplies and energy and things like that to eat with it, because we did have a surplus at the end of the year and we could have dealt with a small increase if the proposal had been made to us. It was never made.
Well, you know, I think
it was never mentioned that they were going to cut staff.
No, never.
Or hours or anything.
No.
It was because the discussion we had was 2.5%. They're getting. The motion was for 2.5%. There was, and they said, okay, that's the number that we can shoot for. There was never any back about them making cuts to staff, so.
Well, when the person called me over the weekend, I said to them, you know, if it's when we've done when we've reduced staff at the school by retirement, because we had a reduction in population, that we used to have 5 classes per grade. And with the population decreasing, we went to 4 just by retirement, without anybody being laid off. So I said to the person at the time, if they don't need the positions, then that's one thing. Meaning they cut it, they didn't really need the position. We would have liked to have known in order to pay, to budget appropriately for the unemployment, but it's really their decision to make if they don't need the staff.
That's right.
So I asked John Tuffy today on the phone, do you need those positions? Is it something that you don't really need anymore? And he said, no, we could use those positions.
Well, there's a difference between could use and we need.
No, I think I got the impression that yeah. You know, I don't know if they're like, maybe they had an aide that was one-on-one, that the child moved on, and, you know, maybe there's some new needs that, I have no idea. All I wanted to find out tonight is if you were aware when you made your decision that it would affect staff. Okay. All right. All right. I guess what I'll do is I'll reach out to Casey Hansen, though she's not the chair anymore, I'll reach out to Summer to see if she...
So they don't have any retirements that could help fill in this? Because let's face it, 2.5% should cover their raises and everything else.
Well, again, they lost a couple of grants. Remember, like they lost, it was the, I don't remember, Sandy's on here, but it was in the audiovisual area.
Yeah, but shouldn't they look at whether they need those services? I mean, if they had the services via a grant, and the grant gets taken away, they should look at whether they can afford to support that within their budget.
Well, that's what I think they're trying to do, but obviously they didn't feel that they had the money.
Well, I think, go to Stu, but the problem when you look at their budget, when you look at the top sheet of their budget, it doesn't tell you whether there's grant money or other money in there. It's just assumed that people know what those are. So, Stu.
I was going to say that right now I think I'm hearing a lot of conversations back and forth, and that I think we should, as a board, request a letter from them saying what they knew and when they knew it, such that, you know, we get it documented.
But would you have made it, what could you do with that now, the budget set?
Well, I think this is going to have downstream effects.
Yeah, it's a guide for the future.
Yeah, I'd sure like to see something in writing.
Okay.
Is that a motion to write a letter?
I'd make a motion to request a letter from the superintendent or from the board stating exactly what has happened and the timelines, what they knew and when, just so it's documented.
Yeah, and I think the letter should say we have been advised that and we were not aware of it.
Right,
and,
exactly.
You know, something to that.
Let's get their side of the story in writing.
Yes.
Okay, Kendra, can you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there a second?
I second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
I've been going to the meetings that they didn't mention that at all, so.
No, I had no idea until I got the call. I was like, what are you talking about? See, I was still going on the level service budget, and then it wasn't until I contacted Kendra, who said, you know, that Peg had made the motion for 2.5%, and then it came to me, that's what ended up happening.
So maybe another thing that we could add into our list of items is that if there's grant money going directly to the schools, that they list on the bottom how much of this budget
Is making up for a lost grant.
or how much money in grants is being used.
In addition,
They don't show that in their budget. The elementary school does not have a budget and then apply grant money to that budget. They do it outside. So if they lose a grant, then they feed that into the budget as part of their increase.
typically, and then they have like 2 aides, for instance, I learned today, are not paid by the town of Halifax at all. They're paid by the region.
Because it's part of that chapter 2,
Right.
yes.
Well, at any rate, whether the money comes from this side or that side, we should at least know what the real liability for the school is and know what the liabilities of those grants are, because if they're talking about cutting a state grant and people in the room don't realize it, when residents of the town don't realize it, they're not going to be upset over it until it's too late.
Right. I mean, you might have made a different decision on, you know, that dollar amount had you known the positions would have been affected.
We would have had a conversation about it.
Right. Yeah.
Well, it would have certainly caused more discussion.
Yes. Yes.
And their population has dropped dramatically, you know.
Yes, but these are sped aids. But the other thing is, you know, you don't really know what needs you need at the, you know, like you think you know what students are coming in, you know, and I don't know. I just, like I said, I just got a call this weekend, and I you know, told them that I would look into it, and so that's what I have been doing. So.
Okay. So here's a letter from the Silver Lake Regional School District to Ms. Kim Roy, the Chair of the Board of Selectmen. Dear Ms. Roy, on behalf of the Silver Lake Regional School Committee, I would like to invite your board members to the August school committee meeting on Thursday, August 13th at 7 p.m. in the high school large group room. The purpose of this meeting is to start a discussion on the 2016-2017 Silver Lake budget process. In addition to agreeing on a timeline for the district's budget, the committee will be looking for community input on priorities for the 2016-2017 budget. There will be a potluck dinner beginning at 6 p.m. prior to the meeting. Please RSVP to Lisa Turcott at 781-585-4313 or her email, which is lturcott@slrsd.org by Monday, August 10th. If you have any questions or any information or need additional information, please feel free to contact Joy Blackwood. So the new chair of Silver Lake is John Creed. So he was CC'd, Charlie, me, and Kim Orcutt. And I talked to Mr. Creed, and he said he was inviting Plimpton and Kingston Selectmen and Finance Committee members to attend this meeting as well.
Yeah, he has an idea.
So, and then to the town clerk from the Selectman Assistant, dated June 10th, reappointments to the Finance Committee. At the Board of Selectmen meeting held on Tuesday, June 9th, moved by Selectman Chairman Kim Roy, seconded by Finance Committee member Gordon Andrews. The following vote was taken to reappoint Stuart Hall of 54 Highland Circle and Margaret Fitzgerald of 463 Plymouth Street to the Finance Committee, both with terms to expire June 15th, 2018. So Kim voted yes, I voted yes, and John Bruno voted yes. Signed appointment cards are attached and letters have been sent to Stuart and Margaret instructing them to contact your office and arrange a time to be sworn in. So I'm assuming you guys did that tonight.
We did.
Okay, so that's our letters. It's our mail. The funny thing missing from this agenda, which is kind of funny, but that's fine.
I thought you'd be pleased about it.
Any reserve fund transfers?
Yes. I have 2 reserve fund transfers.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, the first reserve fund transfer is the amount requested is $67. Pope's Tavern electricity. The present balance is $133.05. The amount requested will be used for the average bill is running about $189. I am requesting this amount for the 12th bill of the year. I'm assuming that's Charlie's signature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, we did our best for the town meeting to estimate as well as we could, and there were a couple of them, at least it looks like we're gonna be off, so. I think there's council on aging in the town hall at this point. We'll see how everything plays out.
Okay.
The last bills later this month.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Today is 6/22/2015.
Sandy is at her graduation today. She did the Suffolk University.
Yeah, you signed it and I'm passing that.
It's a program in
Yeah.
city town administration, and so she's at her graduation. Yeah, she did really well. She got an A in her last class, and you know, it was a lot, like she did that whole class and just performed so well.
And it results in a degree,
No,
or is it a certificate?
she took, I think it's 5 classes during the course of basically half a year. These are graduate level classes, and so in fact, for Suffolk, they would give her, if she wanted to pursue a degree there, what she's done is worth 12 credits. I think it was basically, we'll give you credit for 4 out of 5 classes or something like that.
Yeah, towards your master's, yeah, so there's a,
Oh, excellent.
yeah, the MMA is one of the partners in that program. They partnered with Suffolk.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Talked to her about it at Stop and Shop a couple weeks ago.
Borrow your pen, Jake?
Absolutely.
Slacker today.
A little schoolgirl with her lunchbox. That hops is meeting if you're not here.
The line
I'll be
pattern
done with this
again.
in 1 minute.
Okay.
Where are you? And nobody's answered. I'll try Sharon. Yeah, I tried John, but he always loses his phone.
Oh, he said that he didn't have his phone.
Yeah, but his neighbor gave him one just to come home off.
If you want to keep going, I can
Okay.
wait.
The amount requested is for $1,310 to be transferred to Town Hall electricity. The present balance in the appropriation is $1,462.34. The amount requested will be used for the 11th bill of the year, which is $1,208.48, leaving $253.86 in the account. I'm requesting this amount for the 12th bill of the year. So this is for Town Hall electricity.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Okay, I move, you second it.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, 5, 6, 22, 21, 1,310.
Hi, Sharon. Oh, okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, great, thanks. Bye. I haven't started yet, they're at the museum.
I was gonna say, probably not trying to this last time, I'm gonna speak to her about that.
Do we have any line item transfer?
Excuse me. Send it right over. Choosing the right number.
The selectmen meeting tomorrow night?
Yes.
The meeting with Mr.
Doing one interview,
McAvoy.
McAvoy.
and then, I don't know what, if folks are gonna make a recommendation tonight. Obviously, the board still needs to do the interview, but you all are gonna, I know, you're gonna be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you all probably need to instruct Gordon. As much as Gordon ever wants to be instructed.
Hey, I'm instructed every day.
We still need to make a decision as to.
Yeah. All right, so we have the line item transfers to do first, and then... Okay, first line item transfer is the amount of $500 from the wages account from Highway. The budget amount for this fiscal year was $283,433. The current balance in this account is $45,372.63. The reason for the excess balance in this account was a loss of an employee during the year. 2, highway expense. Budget amount for this fiscal year was $4,971. The current balance in this account is $976.04. The reason for the shortfall in this account was sending an employee to OSHA safety training class and unexpected repairs to the printer.
I would move that we approve that transfer.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Okay. Yeah, going the same way. Okay, the next line item transfer is from, or the amount of $2,500. Sorry, Peg. From account 196, town building custodial. Budget amount for this fiscal year was $161,732. Current balance in this account is $15,939.27. The reason for the excess balance is no overtime. 2, line 197, town building expense. The budget amount for this fiscal year was $31,467. The current balance in this account is $674.22. The reason for the deficit in this account is unexpected expenses, septic at the police, pumping tanks, replacing floats, 2 new pumps, wiring, and redesigned plastic fills, and septic at the fire station, Roto-Rooter hired for showers, laundry room due to sludge. So that's the reason for the increase.
That sounds
Request
fantastic.
of $2,500.
Definitely want to fix that.
So, is there a motion to transfer $2,500?
I would move it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye.
Hi.
Opposed or abstentions?
For years I was carrying a pen and a cap. And kept the cap down and let my pen just because nobody else could get it in their pocket.
With a cap.
It's a good one. Just keep them strong.
But then I got this freebie. It was pretty nice. Migrated back.
It was only $2,500 for that. That's actually not that bad.
Do you want one?
I'm good.
Replacing the floats in the pump chamber is not a fun job, nor is replacing the pumps.
I think when he said sludge, I said to him, I'm out. You had me at sludge.
Yeah.
Okay, so this next line item transfer is requested in the amount of $1,500 from the fire wages account, which was budgeted at $587,955. The current balance in this account is $63,727.37. The reason for the excess balance in this account is a full-time member at Top Step resigned and was filled with a Step 1 member. 2, vehicle maintenance. Budget amount for this fiscal year was $24,065. The current balance in this account is $169.25. And the reason for this deficit is unforeseen repair to engine 1. So is there a motion to approve? Normally we ask for a little more information for these types of things when there's issues with vehicles, but seeing it's
I
the...
think we've beaten the maintenance account for the fire department.
No, I'm just
She
saying,
did address it, that it was coming.
Yeah.
I think, early.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I would move it.
Is there a second?
Hey, a second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Saying game with the dog, that's just not a good saying. No, it's not a good saying, I don't know why. Yeah, drum. That was better. Yeah, drums. I don't know why.
I don't know unless you live in that town in China that they've been talking about in the news.
And it does harken to the fact that truth is stranger than fiction.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So next up is discussion and vote to fill the open finance committee seat. So we've talked to 3 people. One person has withdrawn their request for nomination. Mr. Bennett has withdrawn. So we have Mr. McAvoy and Mr. Conroy. So the selectmen have not interviewed Mr. McAvoy yet. What would the board like to do to fill the open position? I think both people would be a great fit, so I'm good with both. So what do you guys feel?
But there's only one open seat.
There's only one open seat.
Just confirming, I didn't miss anything last time.
So
So we have to make a decision.
yeah, we have to take a position. Previously, you kind of stepped up to the finance committee after being on another committee. You would have been on capital plan or another wage and personnel before you came on to the finance committee, so that part makes sense if you want to support Mr. Conroy. Mr. McAvoy's been on the finance committees before, so just doesn't know the town of Halifax side of operations. So that's pretty much what we could say about both of them. It's just, do you want to, what do you guys want to do?
I'll speak first. I'm gonna vote for Mr. Conroy because he had been on the capital plan committee previously. I think with Linda and I coming onto the board, you kind of got that fresh take on things. And I think Mr. Conroy has the experience from his time on capital plan. And I think he would be an asset to the committee, just using the knowledge he gained from being on capital plan.
Okay.
I think either one of the candidates would be a good one. I agree with her 100%, but I was really impressed with the credentials that Mr. McAvoy presented in his proposal. I really am somewhat neutral. I'd like to wait and see what the Board of Selectmen feel.
That was going to be my position, was to delegate or defer to your judgment sitting in the interview with the selectmen.
Well, my concern with Mr. I'm going to pronounce his name wrong, McAvoy, is he expressed other interests that could conflict. So whether those doors open for him sooner, that's what I'm nervous about, is if he comes on and then those opportunities present himself and then he has to leave.
Okay. So, I don't hear a motion on the floor. Somebody make a motion. I'm not gonna hit that 7:45 deadline.
7:45, where's Nikki?
Well, I can call her and see if she wants to participate.
No. Why don't we can just make the motion to wait for the selectmen to finish their interviews?
Well, the
right?
selectmen are meeting tomorrow.
Right, but I'm saying making a motion to vote after they interview. Is that what you guys, Peg and Stu, are saying? You want to wait and hear what the selectmen have to say, or?
I think the hope was, if I could interrupt, was that, you know, you would have a recommendation of who you would want to have on the board. Again, you bring up some great points. Mr. Conroy's been on capital planning. Mr. McAvoy, you know, does offer a lot. He's sat on the finance committee. I think what I said to the Board of Selectmen when we interviewed Mr. Bennett before he withdrew his name is that how lucky are we that we had so many people interested, and that whoever is not the candidate for the finance committee should go on that extra spot that we have, or stay on capital planning, so that at some point that could be the feeder board to the finance committee, that at least people get a sense of things on capital planning. You know, they get a sense of the funding sources and those sorts of things. So we're lucky either way. But if you don't want to make a recommendation, that's fine. I can let our board know tomorrow night that you were happy either or. But if you want to make a recommendation, you can.
I'd be happy with either one of them. Whatever the Board of Selectmen, to a certain extent, their prime responsibility is appointing people to boards in order to oversee the town. So I kind of like their input.
Okay. That's a 3 vote, right? That's Mr. Bruno.
Yes,
So is he coming tomorrow night?
yes.
Okay. Is that the only position that he's coming to vote for?
I believe so because, well, no. We may be also handling wage and personnel, because wage and personnel finally gone back and Maureen wants to be reappointed. And
Okay.
I have to check the bylaw to see if
I need.
John participates in that.
You do.
Pardon?
I would have somebody from the finance committee has to be there to vote on that
Yeah,
as
that
well.
I'm fairly sure about.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Maureen did ask to be reappointed. Oh, that's good.
She did, and there was a candidate that interviewed for that is happy to go on capital planning or any other. He had checked interest in other boards, so
Oh, that's good.
yeah. So we definitely have some interest in. He's also interested in filling perhaps the planning board position. We have a planning seat because nobody ran this
Mhm.
year.
So if we're gonna take a vote tomorrow, are you leaving it up to me to vote, or do you want me to come back? Stu's shaking his head, yes.
I would leave it up to you.
I think as you hear the interview and,
I would move that we delegate to the chair the responsibility.
That was coming.
I like that.
Any further
Fill the
discussion?
vacancy.
Any further discussion on that?
the weight of responsibility.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? Okay.
That way you're in a position to make a decision tomorrow night.
Okay, will do. Okay, reorganization. So if we're gonna fill, do we wanna put that off until, okay, easy enough. We should at some point sit down and review our finance committee budget. Maybe do that at the next meeting, just to make sure that we've got everything. Do we have any more binders?
We will need to purchase, I will purchase a binder for,
Okay. Okay,
it's already on my list.
okay. That's the only other thing I could think of with the,
Can I help you?
Do you have a bathroom I could use?
Right here. I'm gonna run to the House meeting.
You wrote that sounds museum.
Yeah.
We're probably gonna be gone before you come back.
Oh, yeah, I know.
anything else under FY15 spending wise, other than the school stuff? That is really FY16?
I'll let you know if I hear anything.
Okay.
I'll see you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Okay.
Bye, Betty.
But, okay, so we'll put reorg on the next meeting. We'll review our,
And that's the 13th, right?
yes. Yes. unless Charlie says any different.
Yeah.
No major reasons for,
No, I don't
we'll,
see
we'll
it.
meet before the 15th, so that should be fine, right? Okay, so July 13th at 7 p.m. is our next meeting. Please, if you can, schedule in attending the Silver Lake meeting on August 13th. If you guys can attend, I'd like you to. It is
What was the time on that again?
7 p.m. is the meeting. If you want to attend the potluck, it's at 6 p.m. and you need to RSVP to Lisa Turcutt by Monday the 10th for the potluck. For the meeting, you can just attend.
Or you can all let
And
me
just
know.
real
and I'll
quick, what was the
send
location?
one.
It's at the high school in the
Yeah.
big group room. So closest to Lake Street, if you park on the Lake Street side and go up the set of stairs there, it's above the library. And anything else, Charlie, for public participation? And we all know when our meeting next, July 13th. We're skipping the following meeting for July, meeting again in August.
August 24th.
August 24th. So I will see you guys with our newest member at our next meeting.
Yeah, will you let us know?
Sure.
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
I guess we'll determine based on that interview tomorrow.
Okay.
We're sure you'll do a fine job.
I'm sure. Yeah. Anybody have a motion?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I would second that.
All those in favor? Aye. I'll tell Nikki that she could have come for 5 minutes.